Hi, my name is Tanya, and I paint things that come true. So, in this painting, so far I have predicted the car fires in Northern California, amongst some other things. Names of killers that were found, school shootings. As I paint right now, I will be predicting some more. Now, there are all kinds of, this is a good sized painting. And building there. And there are flowers on this building. And I predicted a death in this building, and it's the building that I reside in right now. But I am working on, I'm researching and slowly putting together the works of how the universe works. And many scientists have predicted that this would happen in this lifetime, and I am the one doing it. And my initials are TH for anyone, well, especially Graham Hancock, that would mean something to him. So, anyway, as I'm painting, I'm doing this to relieve some anxiety I'm having right now. And my son is in a coma, and sadly had a feeding tube inserted today and a trach tube inserted yesterday. And the hardest part is I know why everything's happening, and it's based on things I've done in my life and things he's done in his life, and to I guess you would say complement one another's lessons. We are born into our past, and yes, into our past. So what you leave behind, you are born into. And say you wanted to take your life, you are born into a life where your life will be taken, or you can be born into a situation where you're an orphan. If you left a child behind, you will suffer what they suffered. And that is just how the universe works. But what people don't understand is I'm going to explain some of the Bible to you right now. It said God created language differences to divide man. Now, if you look at Greek mythology and you look at all these paintings and drawings from the Mayans and Greek mythology and such, you'll see that they had the body of an animal. Let's do this. I'm sure I'm supposed to do this right now. Here you have like the body of an animal. Here's the horse, right? And then you have this torso of a man. Well, like I have right there a man with a chicken head. But here, let's do this guy here. And don't worry, I'll get all fancy later. So, now some of these guys had hooves as like hands, but I'm going to go in. So, I have okay. So then you have this man. We'll give him long or her long hair, right? So you had half man, half animal, and they talk about evolution and how we evolved from apes, but that's not quite what happened. So we had half man, half animal. God divided. So then we became man and animal, right? Only what we fail to recognize is in the Bible it says, do not kill man. Do not kill man. It also says that God turned man into fish and crawling things. Crawling, creeping things, anything that creeps, crawls, has a knee. Do you ever notice everything's got a knee? So that would be a man. So you have was once the same. We were all the same at one time. So you go around and you do things against nature, and nature fights back. The reason we have disease, the reason we have cancer, the reason we have all of the things that we have is based on how we treat nature. Say you want a beauty product. You're like, oh, I want a beauty product. It's on animals to make sure it's safe for humans. Therefore, God creates disease, so you have to test on man to cure them. The man has to be cut open. The man has to go blind. The man has to face the side effects of everything they've done to nature. Then you have mental illness, which is the suffering of the animal. When you ingest this animal, it comes through you. That creates your suffering. You create your suffering. And the universe, complex world, and I am trying to get through this ordeal of what my son is going through. He's actually the one going through everything. And my paintings predict things. So I am painting to calm me before I go to the hospital and spend the night. And this goes deep into history, and this is something that is rather incredible. Stephen Hawking was on the right track. Science is on the right track. And there is no, see, we have a woman here. She's half man, half animal. We have a man there that's half man, half chicken. We have a woman here that I painted, and she's human, but there's a fox, and I'm unsure what this means within here, but this is predicting something. And she's in a carriage, and there's a panda. So it implies that this would be the South Pacific. These are the wheels. These are many birds. In that painting, I painted what was happening to my son, and I didn't even realize it. And this painting is just full of birds. Now, the tube that was put into my son's abdomen inside his organs look like a bird. So that is and as I began painting this, my son's ex-girlfriend was calling, and so she looks like she has like something coming out of her back, like she is a dragon or something. So everything I paint predicts something. So just know this isn't, I've painted people before they've passed. I paint things from history. I will open a book, well, an audible book, and it will explain what I've just done. And I could be hearing the book for the very first time, and I've painted the things that were in the book. Now, Graham Hancock said he was doing some kind of excavation, some finding, and the letter TH kept coming up, and these paintings that were half human, half animal, birds and such, were showing up. And I had painted these before I read the book. And my initials are TH. So I am I'm very connected to nature. I understand how the universe works. I understand why every negative thing that's happening to my family or my friends, I understand. And it's very intense to understand so much. So I know why Jesus was able to pass the way he did. Well, I'm fairly certain I have it right. And why God would be portrayed the way he is, but if man understood, they would know he had no choice to do the things he did. He didn't do things to be unkind. He did things to save his son. And everything we do is a reflection of everything that is to come. And when you eat meat, or you, I have a friend who just shared a story about how his dog, the pregnant rabbit, and he was going to have to get rid of his dog. Now, I don't know how to address this to him, but the reason the dog killed the rabbit is because my friend takes the eggs from the chickens. So, and those chickens, those eggs are their babies. So, and he uses their babies to eat, therefore his dog would eat the rabbit. I know, hard to understand. Now, if he gets rid of this dog, the universe will get rid of someone in his family. That's just how it works. So And I know that when I got rid of a dog when I was younger, I lost a baby. And so I've come to understand these things. And it's not pretty. And we're oblivious to it. We think that we understand God and we understand you. And I am writing eventually the, I guess it would be the quantum theory of the laws of nature. So this is me, and it was predicted that I would be coming forth with this information in this lifetime. And so here we are. And eventually I will align the people that are searching for these answers. So I do all kinds of cryptic messages in my paintings. Here's a bird. There's a bull. There's a deer. There's a giant turtle. There's a swan. There's another bird in here. It's hard to see her. And there's a Cocker Spaniel right there. This Cocker Spaniel was my first pet. He was my stepfather's, I think, grandmother's dog. And when she passed, Nick was the name of the Florida killer. And here we have a man who is right there. You see a man with his hair on the side, and then you have a duck right here. So they are sharing, they are of one. And then I have this little bird right here. He's got like a sombrero type hat on, a top hat. And but there's a bird. There is some kind that looks like a puppy almost. I'm not sure what this guy is. And there's a dragon. And I'm working on the dragon. And that looks like a little pig. Like a little pig. He's cute. There's a dog. His ears and his eyes right there, and his back. And he's like got a bird behind him. Now, my friend's dog, right, just killed a rabbit, but there's a goose, and I don't know where the rabbit is. There's got to be a rabbit in here. Actually, that looked like a rabbit prior with the two ears. But then, oh, that's what it is. The rabbit and the dog. The dog killed the rabbit. And that was the demon. And now it makes sense. And there is a it's really trippy how these paintings predict things. So I predicted, but this girl is, you know, that expression, sad panda. She looks down, her hands in her pocket, and this fox has an orange face. Now, my friend has red hair, And his, I'm unsure. I'm unsure. But I paint these things before they happen. So everything in life for me is reason. I had no formal painting lessons, so bear with me. Okay. Okay. Now I will paint her face in with black and this is some demon looking guy, but he's not bad. I don't, he's doing something. My intention is to paint my son, his health, and keep my family healthy and safe. So when you ask the universe for something, you have to be aware of your intention and what you want. Might you have to pay for sins to get there. And when I think of the book The Secret, the woman stated that she had a lot of darkness happening in her life before she was given the book The Secret. Well, she was giving the mysteries, the knowing. But what she didn't realize was by stating that the book changed her life and that people were dying around her before she got the book, that she was attracting these people's deaths. She wanted them to die then, right? I mean, she what happens is sell something and not tell people what you were thinking and feeling. Like, the hardest part about my books will be sharing all of my sins so you know exactly why everything occurred in my life, and then you will be able to assess why things happening, and you'll be able to predict things that will happen. And it's a math equation based on intention. And how it works with nature is through colors and patterns. Numbers are very important, but in nature, they come through colors and patterns. Like when you try on clothes in the morning, pay attention to what you try on, look at the colors. And then when you walk out, you'll see those colors cross your path, like right away. And that's the universe showing you what's in store for your day. And if you see someone wearing the same shirt as you, or same color shirt you tried on and you didn't wear, whatever you were feeling is what you're going to receive. So it's, wow, she's intense. So anyway, I am, okay, I'm gonna paint the top of this painting on this little turtle. She's so cute. I think of this turtle and I think of Hawaii, and I think of um, the Sheraton. The, I think it's the Sheraton. They have the big turtle pond. And I lived in Hawaii for a short time, and I my friend Marisol calls me dear, and this is like a little. I'm not sure what he looks like. A little goat. So, and this bird right here. It's okay. Okay. So which is ironic. Um, but I am. So anyway, a lot of people are going to be very hard to convince of this because no one wants to believe they contribute to their own suffering or the suffering of their children. And nobody wants to believe that, well, they might want to, but that if you eat animals, you suffer what they suffer. And that's where your bad moods come from and stuff. And then it passes. You suffer the exact measurement of what you consumed. So if you eat like that much meat, like a piece like that, you'll bump an elbow, your head, and such, and then you'll move on. Now, if you eat a whole piece of meat, you're going to suffer some kind of hardship, and eventually it'll add up to a death, someone dying close to you. So I would suggest stop eating meat or eat it in moderation and acknowledge the suffering and apologize. You know, people talk about gratitude. They're like, thank you, God, for this dead animal. I love my dinner. Thank you. And he's saying, I didn't do this. I didn't make you eat that. So So you have to be mindful of what you blame him for. So it's best to tell your food, I'm sorry, I'm weak. There's a bird here. I'm sorry. I'll take what I need. And it's hard. It's hard it's hard for me. It's very complicated. And there's a bird here. And I try my best to pick up a little bit of garbage here and there. His son was a smoker a couple of weeks ago. He cannot smoke now. And so I've been picking up cigarette butts off the sidewalk in the street, so it will be less sins that he has to pay for. You have to pay for those sins. The more you throw on the ground, the harder it will. That's why it's so hard to give up, and you don't realize that. If you're trying to quit something, backtrack. While you're trying to quit smoking, pick up cigarette butts off the street. Pick up cigarette packs off the street. And eventually, when you've picked up what you've contributed, you'll be able to cause an effect. So anyway, let's look on my turkey. This color is going to appear in my life very soon, I feel. So, let's see. But I am going to leave in a minute. So, anyway. I'm not going to speak out loud about predictions at this time. I will just talk, and I will not outwardly predict anything, even if I see something, because then it comes back to my own life, and I'm not trying to deal with any more than I can handle right now. But I will tell you that Van Gogh's father believed that when he painted, he was painting, he was creating some form of witchcraft, which is true. We are conduits, and these spirits paint through us, and they show us things that will happen. That is what I've come to know. Now, a lot of people paint a lot of things, and they're unaware that depression they're feeling is based on whatever they're consuming. If they're using oil paints, I use acrylic. If they use oil paints, they did testing on animals. They are toxic. and therefore they will suffer the depression and the mood swings and whatever the animal suffered. Now, I paint little bits at a time now. I don't paint obsessively anymore. And so I paint with acrylic. Now, I have wood brushes. So I suffer whatever these brushes suffer, but I no longer buy more brushes and I don't use cleaning products on them. And I don't get my nails done anymore, and I don't wear makeup except for eyebrow stuff, and sometimes mascara or blush or something, but very rarely. And I'm gonna actually try to find a vegan line, so if I do, then it hasn't had any recent animal testing. Everything has some kind of animal testing. People don't realize that if you go to a vegan line, it's they don't do animal testing, and it's been proven safe and effective. You know, oh, this makeup works, and we didn't do any animal testing. That doesn't mean it wasn't tested on by another company 20 years ago. And now it's just been ruled that it's safe. So you still have to suffer some of the side effects. You trying to give it texture, and I have a lot of learning to do myself. It's just a little overwhelming right now, but okay. Let's get this dragon. But okay. Let's do this. Now, so if you have an issue and you need some guidance, I am happy to guide you as best as I can. Right. What I can say is please don't do drugs. You matter. Your life matters. Your feelings matter. And thank you to the elevators. They get you, their spirits are still intact and they still things. So please be mindful. And it's not easy for nature. We don't realize how selfish we are. Imagine nature. If you can't grasp that nature is real, and it is, I can assure you. Think of it this way: if you believe in God, think of how you would feel if you created a beautiful piece of art. You created this amazing work of art, and someone walked in and just spit on it, or urinated on it. Think about it. Think about what we do, what animals do to one another. I mean, you can't even fathom. Like if someone walked in and they just punched a hole through this painting, I'd be all, what the hell is wrong with you? Can you imagine what the gods, what God, what Had is the collective energy of the universe, nature, everything involved. You know, you have Zeus up there making it rain. You have everyone doing their part, and we're down here creating chaos. We're just like pillaging nature. Oh, yeah, I need to scoot you guys out because I need to fucking build a building and have a bunch of places empty and then kick the homeless people out because they're impacting how I want things perceived. It's kind of ironic that we don't get that. And, you have a lot of people advocating for nature as they contribute to the decline of nature also. Everybody's advocating for nature and they're passing out flyers. I'm like, did a tree have to die for that? I'm just, how much does that cost? You want me to donate money? Isn't so? How many more trees have to die to? Yeah, the hypocrisy within us is insane. Now people are like owning air. I'm like, how can you own air? Who gave you that? I'm like, I'm pretty sure God's got something to say. He's like, fine then. I'll change the air quality. Our quality of life is deteriorating because of our intention. So I will do my best to try to explain how we could maybe fix that, how we could maybe change things. So I have this bird right here, and when I look back, it reminds me in these historical Greek paintings, there's this guy right here, right? And he's got this pointy thing, and he's got this mouth, and unique looking character, and I don't know what he is, but it reminded me of my son when he had a trach tube in. I mean, not a trach, when he had a feeding tube. So this is, and you have these birds back here that I will try to enhance, but yeah, it's pretty trippy. But in Greek mythology, this guy appears. And see, all I did was paint a bird and then talked about, the South Pacific and the storms that were coming. And then I was talking about Italy when my daughter went. And it was just, I was talking about bridges. And, but the San Francisco bridge, that one, keeps coming up. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But it's hopefully it's nothing bad. So it's a little dark back. So anyway, it's a little scary painting sometimes because I don't know what I'm predicting and I don't want to create any chaos. But, written, so to speak. So, I don't know. But I paint based on the intentions of people that are going to sign in, going to log in. The universe already knows what you're going to think, and they will align you to log in. And then I'm predicting the fate of some people. And it's really trippy how it works. And based on what you're thinking right now in your life, even if you are not watching this, when you do watch it, it is aligning you based on intention. The universe is based on a math equation, and it's already being written as you're creating your path based on your free will. Like you're using numbers, right? And the universe is calculating your numbers. And you could be maxing out your credit card or defaulting on something, and the universe will align you to pay for that. One way or another, you will pay for it. That's why you see a lot of college graduates having a hard time finding jobs. It's based on their intention and what they did with their money that they got for their student loans, what their parents struggled with and suffered. Yeah, it's no joke. So if you would like to understand it better, I'm happy to help. But anyway, so again, this is a decent sized painting. There's another one predicted a lot. And somehow I am showing the paradigm from biblical times. And I'm part of it somehow, some way. My son, my daughter, my other son, we're all part of it somehow. And I'm doing my best to share what I know without trying to overthink what I know. I'm just showing what I've observed happening. And there's always religion in there. And so anyway, I'm going to head out. I'm really curious to see how she turns out and what happens. I'm super curious. Maybe science is going to find her in a cave. But what I do know is they are going to find the tomb of Jesus at some point. So stay tuned. And I turn this thing off. I don't know how to turn it off. How do I turn you off? That's me. So, and I really don't know how to work this thing. So I'll share Facebook, share